I've had a single question on my mind the last several days. How did Chelsea talk me into doing this? Mr. Toastmaster, fellow club members, and honored guests. I don't consider myself to be a funny person, at least not deliberately. And I don't consider myself to be the best speaker. And in fact, this is my first formal speech as a new Toastmasters member. So how did Chelsea convince me? In thinking about this question, I recalled a book I've been reading, which is called The Psychology of Persuasion. In it, the author talks about principles that govern how some people, leaders, salespeople, marketing people, can convince other people to do something they didn't think they wanted to do. These principles are rooted in the fact that there is way too much information out there these days. So humans have developed automatic responses that can help them save time, that can help them reduce how much they have to think and how much they have to process. In other words, we're lazy. So let's just examine two of these principles in order to understand the source of Chelsea's power over me as well as the rest of you. So these principles are, first, commitment and consistency, and second, liking. So the first principle, commitment and consistency. People want to appear consistent with their past actions, especially if they have made some sort of commitment. So one example from the book, just to illustrate. This is an example from the toy industry. So toy manufacturers face a potentially huge drop in sales right after Christmas. But imagine this scenario. Your kid, in December, sees an ad on TV for a really cool toy, for example, Talking Elmo. They get you to promise that you'll go to the store and buy it for them. So you go to the store, and it's sold out. So what do? You buy another toy, right? But what happens after Christmas? So in January, your kid happens to see the same ad again, and they go to you and whine. You promised. So what do? You have to go back to the store and buy Elmo. So in effect, you are spending twice as much as you originally intended to do. And in fact, this is a ploy by toy manufacturers who undersupply toy stores with the popular toys in December, and then they restock the toys in January. So how is this relevant to how Chelsea was able to convince me to give this speech? First, Chelsea knew that I had made a commitment by joining Toastmasters. Do you guys remember when Mona asked each one of us to set a specific goal for a number of speeches we'll give? Well, she got me to agree to 6, and Chelsea knows this. It's on the record. Second, she and others, like Janica and Mona, who I call her accomplices, they encourage everyone to take on roles, even if it's not a formal speech. So I started out doing one-table topics, and then I took on the role of timekeeper, and then I did an evaluation. So now I have to be consistent and keep on going. The second principle is liking. So let me give you 2 examples of tools of liking. So the first is compliments. Again, another example from the book. The actor McLean Stevenson from the TV show MASH, he was once asked, how was his wife able to trick him into marriage? And his response, she says she liked me. So we all like to hear sincere compliments from people that we like. The second tool is conditioning and association. So if you're used to seeing a person in a specific context, then you'll continue associating different feelings with them. One particularly unfortunate example is with weathermen. So weathermen, they often tell stories of old ladies coming up to them and hitting them on the head with an umbrella, or getting accosted in a bar by some drunk person, or even getting death threats. And why is this? It's because when they get the weather wrong, people get mad, and people associate that feeling with the weatherman. And so again, how does this relate to Chelsea and what her powers are? First, she always encourages and compliments people sincerely for a job well done. Second, she's always smiling and enjoying herself during meetings, and this automatically creates positive feelings So even though I've only been to 3 meetings so far, I already associate positive feelings with Chelsea. So all this means that I not only like Chelsea, but I also like Toastmasters, and that in turn led to my commitment to join the club and to give this speech. So there you have it. By mastering these 2 principles, commitment and consistency, and liking, even if it was subconsciously, Chelsea was able to persuade me to give you the speech that you just heard. And now that all of you are aware of these principles, you can choose whether to be persuaded or not. But I leave you with one word of warning. Chelsea is one formidable opponent. Mr. Toastmaster.